No, good. Good morning, Nikki Montana.
Oh, good morning to you.
Thanks for taking time to talk to us.
The Harrison, that's quite alright. I'm just sitting on my chair here, you know.
Wearing slippers and shit.
No, I've actually got shoes on today. Yeah, I'm actually wearing some shoes and some socks.
Mean.
Some jeans and a top, you know. Just keeping it real.
Keeping it real down in Christchurch.
Yeah, hopefully we don't have a bit of a wobble, but no, we should be alright.
Yeah.
Right these days, everything's all good.
Cool, that's good to hear. So you released the Triple X project last month.
Yeah.
What was the purpose behind that?
I don't know. Like I pretty much got sick of doing like EPs or whatever, you know, chucking heaps of shit together or whatever I was basically trying to do. So I was like, you know what, I was either doing EPs or doing like songs and just chucking them up one song at a time or whatever. So I was like, well, that gets a bit boring, you know, so I was trying to think of different ways to do shit. And I was like, well, maybe I'll just do a little package. And yeah, I don't know, I was going to chuck the instrumentals and shit in with it, but I was like, and you know, whatever, but I was like, oh, I'll just chuck these up and see how it goes. You know, I didn't really know what to expect from it because it was just trying something different and whatever, but yeah, it seemed to go alright. I mean, 3 songs, it's not too much to rave about, but I felt pretty happy with the 3 songs that I had done, so yeah, it's pretty good, pretty positive on that.
Yeah. So you worked with Tyna, Slip of the Tongue, and DJ CXL?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. So why did you choose those 3?
Well, basically, the first song, I sort of felt, you know, it was on that sort of kickback sort of thing, and I had done my verses and the hooks and shit, and I was like, oh, you know, sort of thinking, I had a second verse that I was going to do myself, and I was like, well, who would sound good? Like, I was sort of looking through it and, you know, racking my brains over it one day, and I was like, who would sound good on this? So, and yeah, Tyna popped into my head, so I thought, well, I'll hit him up, and then if I don't hear, you know, get back or if shit doesn't work out, you know, I've got my second verse that I can chuck on my stuff that, you know, would still make the song pretty good. So I was like, oh yeah. So I hit him up, and yeah, he came through for me, so that was really good. I appreciated that. And then the second song was Slip. I wrote that as well, and I actually had listed all my backups, like my backup plans and shit, because sometimes you just can't rely on people. Like, I had another verse that I was going to do on that, but I hit him up because we'd been meaning to do a song for ages, so yeah, I hit him up, and I was like, you know, I was really pushing it because I was running out of time and shit, and I was like, bro, I've got a song for you, but I only want you to commit to it if you can get it done by like 3 days or some shit like that. And he was like, yep, I got this. So, yeah, he came through for me on that one, which was really good, and I really appreciated that as well. And CXL, that was another funny story. But, I had done that song, it was on Smokey's beat, I had done the verses for it. And I had thought, you know, going the way that I had planned it out, that it was going to have scratch up, and I had initially thought of someone who I wanted to do it, but whatever happens sort of thing. It wasn't working out, it was taking a bit too long, so I hit up CXL, and I was like, it's really random because I had just finished doing something for him, so I was like, oh bro, by the way, since I did that shit for you, can you do the scratch up for me, you know, if it wasn't too much, you know, problem with shit, wasn't too much trouble. So yeah, and he came through for me on that, which was really lucky. So everything just sort of yeah, it all sort of fell together. So that was pretty good.
So what were you doing for CXL? Was that for his new album?
Yeah. He hit me up and just asked me to jump on this track. So
what's the goss? What's the name of the song?
The name of what? The song?
Yeah.
I'm not. I think it might be called represent or something like that. I'm not 100% sure of the title of the song, but from what I can gather, I haven't heard the finished song yet, but from what I can gather, it's like a track with people. So I'm looking forward to hearing that. So he hit me up and asked me to do that. So that was cool because I hadn't really connected with him before. So yeah, I had a chance to do that and did a bit of a verse for him, and then I felt like, you know, that was cool because I ended up needing him for something which he came to me.
Awesome. Talking about like heaps of people.
Yeah.
You happen to be the first lady of Silverback Gang.
Oh yeah, man. But no, yeah. That's pretty cool.
Tell us about that. That's like a big deal, eh?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I'm pretty proud to be part of that. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. But Tyson, I've known Tyson and I've spoken to Tyson for quite a long time. So I think I had just not long dropped the 11th hour, and he rang me up one day and he was like, you know, said that he was really feeling that, and you know, whatever, blah blah blah, as the conversation goes, and asked me to be part of it. So I was like, yes, you know, like it was pretty good. It was pretty cool because at the time, you know, I was just sort of you get sort of stuck at doing shit by yourself, you know. Like, I mean, back in the day, I had a bit of a crew sort of thing going on, and you know, some people that I rolled with, and then since for the last quite a few years, I've just sort of been plodding away doing shit by myself. So yeah, that was quite cool. That was pretty cool. And I remember when I first heard about the Silverback Gang thing, and they put that massive track up with everyone on it, and I was like, wow, yeah, that's bad, you know, like, fuck yeah, I'm feeling that shit. So yeah, I was pretty excited when he asked me to be a part of that and stuff, you know, especially being the only chick and shit, like, you know, that's pretty cool.
Are you going to be on the next release, Silverback release?
Oh, I assume so. Like, well, you think that I would be, so yeah, I should be on there somewhere. Yeah, it should fly up there. I think what we've got going on, that's pretty cool, eh? You know, pretty good.
Yeah.
Lots of really, really dope people, and I think that's the thing that makes me the most artist as well too, because it's like everyone's solid. Like, there's not like, oh, so-and-so over here, you know how sometimes there's a group thing going on, and you know, so-and-so over here, whatever, you know. I feel pretty proud of the fact that I'm part of that, you know, everyone's solid as, and everyone's got, you know, pretty much a bit of a name for themselves, and there's lots of people that are respecting it. So.
In terms of New Zealand artists,
yes.
Who are you feeling at the moment?
Oh wow, I don't even know. Haven't even thought about that. I listen to a bit of stuff, like occasionally these days I flick through Abro and check out what's coming and going and shit like that. But I'm definitely feeling my own team, Silverback, and everyone who's part of that. I'm definitely feeling the villain, and I really like what the movement's doing at the moment too. Off the top of my head, I don't know, I can't really think of. I'm probably missing someone that I think is really dope, but I can't really.
Oh good, they'll only be angry.
Yeah, they'll only be angry, like, oh man.
Fucking Nikki.
She didn't even say my shit.
I'm never gonna shout her out again.
I'm never gonna fucking say shit to her. I'm never gonna even download her shit. I'm never even gonna push play on that shit. Who am I missing, bro? I don't know. There's quite a solid little group of shit going on that I'm feeling. But yeah, there's probably a lot of shit that I'm not feeling.
Who aren't you feeling?
Oh, bro, putting me on the spot, bro. Should I start?
Do we not have enough time?
No, we probably don't have enough time, so we'll skip to the next one, eh?
Okay. how does it feel to be like leading the charge for female MCs?
Is that what I'm doing?
Definitely.
It feels pretty good, I think. I don't know. I don't see myself as really leading. Like, I'm just doing my own thing, sort of thing. You know, I don't see like, oh, this is it. I'm running the shit. Even though like I sort of feel like that sometimes. You know, shit. I might say that shit occasionally, and you know, I've got my brag raps and shit like that. But yeah, I mean, I'm quite happy with the way my little stepping stone path's going and shit, and it feels pretty good at the moment. Like I think I'm at a point where I'm pretty happy. I'm pretty happy with the way things have gone and the way things are going, and you know, the way that my music's sounding at the moment. So yeah, it's all good. Yeah, it feels pretty good.
I've noticed that your music, to me anyway, like it's coming across more feminine. Like lately, that's what I think. Is that true or not?
I got sexy. Nah, I don't know. I don't know if I consciously did that. I think it's just a natural progression. Like to start off with, back in the day, like when I used to rap, you know, how many years ago, I was like really quite aggressive and like, you know, I felt like as if I really needed to be like that to go, hey, well, excuse me, I'm over here, because no one wants to see our little Miss Pansy over there rapping in a sexy voice. Well, I mean, sometimes it depends on what sort of thing you're doing, but you know, if you're trying to make a mark well, in my opinion, if you're trying to make a mark and be like, hey, look, I can actually fucking rap and shit, then I had to be there, you know, like right there, like, okay, this is what I can do, and then I can probably rap better than this dude over here, so, you know, whatever. So it sort of progressed from being and having to make what I feel like having to make that mark, and then also probably finding myself as a person and growing as a person and shit like that, you know. Where I think when I first started rapping, I had a lot of shit going on, and that sort of progressed as well. But you know, I suppose at the moment with shit sounding a bit more feminine, I don't know, maybe just because I was gonna say I know my role, but that would be real sad. Probably just because you know, it's just sort of revolving around my life, which pretty much is being a mum and being settled and you know, still representing my shit and you know what I'm about and stuff like that, but you know, just toning it down and calming it down a bit and feeling a bit more relaxed. Yeah.
What's your opinion on Nicki Minaj?
I occasionally listen to Nicki Minaj. A few songs, like I like to pick and choose as far as artists go. Like obviously I don't have one artist that I listen to every single song and I love them because I'm infatuated with them or anything like that. So I pick out good songs that I might like or songs that I might be feeling on one particular day that suits my mood. So occasionally I listen to Nicki Minaj. And probably as an artist, I mean, it's hard at the moment because heaps of people doing heaps of different shit. Like to me, that wouldn't be something that I would want to do. But yeah, all good. If people are feeling you and you know you're making your money and shit, yeah, whatever, you know.
So no pink wigs for you?
No pink wigs for me, bro.
What's on your playlist at the moment? Like, what are you listening to?
I listen to heaps of different shit. Like, I don't know, I'm actually quite far behind the times as far as downloading all the newer shit goes, and that could either be good or bad, I suppose. I listen to heaps of old school music, so I listen to heaps of like 90s R&B and shit like that. But I listen to heaps of rap shit, like heaps of boom bap shit, heaps of gangster shit, I listen to heaps of different stuff, but most of it is probably old. Yeah, I'm not very up to date with downloading and keeping up with who's doing what these days, but I know when I'm YouTubing and shit, I go off on big tangents. So yeah, I like heaps of different shit. Yeah,
How did you get into rapping, MCing?
Wow, this is actually quite a long story. Back in the day, like I always listened to hip hop and stuff like that. Like I don't even know. I think I must have been like, I don't know. And I started listening to NWA. Like I don't know. I was young age, and so I've always been listening to rap and hip hop and shit like that. But I never really thought, I was just a fan, you know. Like I knew all the words to the songs and shit like that, and I never really thought about, you know, doing it myself or anything like that. I knew I used to sing a bit back in the day, so I knew like if I was going to really be anything, I was probably going to be a singer or something like that. And then when I got to be about 18 or something like that, I started going to like to raves and shit like this. Like I went off on a tangent a bit, and I started doing that, and so that was okay. And at that point in time, I had a radio station. I was doing I had a radio show, and I was doing I was actually spinning a bit of drum and bass and stuff like that. And at the same time as that, I sort of wanted to start emceeing to that shit as well. So I started doing a bit of that, and then I got sick of that pretty quick. Like, I don't know, maybe about 3 or 4 years later, maybe 3 years later. So I basically, I had this sort of major, what felt like a major event at the time. And I really wanted to write a whole song about it. So I wrote a song, and it was just rap, like it just came out that way. And at the time, I didn't really know anything about getting other people to make your beats or you know, whatever. So I made the beat myself. And I sampled my own voice and shit for the hook and all this, and it was probably like a rubbish song, but at the time I did that, and then I let a few of my friends hear it and shit, and you know, and then I actually ended up chucking it up on the internet because I was like an internet noob at the time. I didn't know much about who was doing what and whatever, so I chucked it up on the internet. And then basically, it all started from there. Like, I think Askew came along and commented on my shit, and he was probably one of the only people who actually gave me like constructive, really helpful feedback. So I hit him back, and I was like, hey, thanks very much for you know, being honest and shit. And so that started our way connection. And then after that, he was doing his thing at the time with Disruptive and all of that, and he asked me to feature on a song, and so I did 8 bars, and it all sort of went from there. Just started this whole journey of whatever. It's pretty buzzy.
Tell us about your move from Christchurch to Auckland, and then Auckland back to Christchurch.
Okay. Oh, shame. Basically after as I was just saying before or whatever, after I did that whole made the connection with SQ, and I did a feature for him on one of the songs, because he had this thing going, Tomb Raiders at the time, and I wasn't a part of that yet, and so I did this 8-bar feature thing, like a 8-bar little verse thing, which was pretty cool. And then I think I surprised a lot of people or you know, what my little thing was like, and he was like, you know, and talking to the rest of the crew, and he was like, you know, would you like to be a part of Tomb Raiders and stuff? And I was like, oh yeah, you know, sweet as. It was actually pretty cool, you know. I was like, well, this would be probably really helpful, and I like what they're doing and stuff like that at the time. So I was like, yep, sweet as. And then at the time, I think, of course, Askew was in Auckland, and I was in Christchurch, and Mega, the other member, the other MC, he was in Dunedin, so we were all sort of spread out across the country, and Askew sort of come to us and said, you know, I think that you need to move up here, so I did that, and yeah, at the same time I had sort of made a few other connections and stuff like that, and that moving up to Auckland was a pretty good idea at the time. So and we made good use of the time that we had. And that was pretty good. Got a job up there, righty. Did the whole, it was pretty good at the time. The gigs were good, and whatever. So then, not too long after that, I moved back to Christchurch. But yeah, and then I had baby. So I came back down. Came back down home to have him, and I still kept on plodding along with all my stuff. Like I think even when I was pregnant and all of that, I was still writing, even though I had lots of shit on my plate and whatever sort of things going on at the time. I kept on writing and plodding along, and then I think baby must have been like maybe like 18 months or something like that. And I shifted it back up to Auckland, and I stayed in South Auckland for it must have been just about, I think it was about 3 years. Must be because when I came back down again, baby was at kindergarten. So I went up there again, and I got a few things done. I mean, I could have probably did a lot more shit when I was up there again, and as well as being down here, I could have probably did a whole heap more shit, but sometimes life doesn't really allow you to do that. So and then I came back down home and got baby into Kinsey, and that was, I think, about 5 weeks before the earthquake, was the first big earthquake. So I just had this really funny feeling that I wanted to come home, like I really loved living in Rewa and all of that, but I just had this feeling I wanted to go home. So I moved home, and then the whole shit just fucking changed. But it was a pretty good timing though. I'm really glad that I came home. So, away from home.
Yeah. Did that affect your music, the earthquake?
Probably. I mean, it probably did. Just in the way that it probably affected affects you as a person. So that it probably in turn would affect your music. I noticed since the February earthquake, it's the only time that all the songs that I've made since then, I haven't hated on them. So that's been pretty interesting. Whereas before that, I would make a song and I'd pick it to pieces and I'd go, this could have been better, that could have been better, which I still do, but I can listen to my shit now, whereas before I'd be like, oh god, I can't even listen to that. So maybe it made me better. I don't know. If I can listen to my own shit now and be happy with it, then it must have.
What's next for you?
Well, I think I'm just going to start working on videos anyway, because I don't know, videos are where it's at. Well, I personally feel like videos are where it's at. Like, you can keep on doing songs and shit, but people want to be able to see something to go with it, and at the moment, I think that's where I've been lacking. So I want to have some fun and do some videos and shit like that, because I feel like I've probably got a good catalogue of songs, but it doesn't really mean much at the moment because there's no videos to go with them or whatever. So I think this year, or from now on, and like since I put up the Triple X on my birthday, I think sort of been sitting back and just thinking about things and thinking which way I'm going to go and what am I going to do next, and all of that sort of shit. So I think I'm going to do some videos. Should be pretty fun. I actually got a whole heap of collaborations done since I've put out that Triple X. So it's been quite good to stop and make some time for some collabs, and then I think once I kick back into my whole thing, I'm definitely going to be doing some bits. So it should be pretty fun.
Very fun.
Yeah.
Where can people keep up to date with your music? Facebook, Twitter?
I'm not very good on Twitter. I'm not very good at all. Like,
not hip enough?
I'm not down. I'm just not. Yeah, I'm not hip enough to be on Twitter all the time. I don't know. I started like, but at the moment probably Facebook, the artist page. I'm trying to get my likes up on there. And I post all of my shit up there. So yeah, Facebook or what's that other one? Bandcamp. I've got a Bandcamp. I've started one of those up. It's Bandcamp. Hey? Yeah, Bandcamp.
Yep.
I started one of those for the last shit that I put up. So yeah, there's that, and then SoundCloud. SoundCloud's my other big one. The two things that I keep most up to date with is probably Facebook and SoundCloud, because I like SoundCloud. So yeah, most of my shit, I feel pretty good with my SoundCloud page. It's got, you know, pretty solid shit on there. So yeah, and yeah, then just my Facebook. I'm trying to get my life up, man. I've only got like 700 something likes.
Hopefully people will like it after hearing this.
Yeah, they'll probably go, oh, listen to this chick, she's a dickhead, I'm not gonna like her face. I'm like, oh, I used to like it. I'm like, all this.
That's life.
That's life. That's life. And unfortunately, I just can't be a cool guy, or you know, whatever. I just have to be normal. I'm sorry, I should be putting on my interview voice.
You need to start doing mean rants on your page.
No,
Be one of those people that tell their life story on Facebook.
No.
Just have a cry every day.
Do you think that helps though? Do you think that is actually helping? Or do you think that is making your shit 10 times worse? Like, do you think that getting your attention by doing that is going to make people go, oh, well, actually, now that I know their life story, I'm going to click on their music? Have you got any more questions?
What other questions do you want me to ask? I'm not very good at this interviewing shit.
Aren't you?
No, so what questions do you want to answer?
I don't know, man. I don't know. I just, you know.
I think we should wrap it up.
Yeah, let's wrap it up.
Well, thank you for your time, Nikki Montana.
How am I actually supposed to just go, yes, sweet as bro, thanks for that, after this whole lot of shit that we've been talking about?
So fuck Nick, you're the greatest.
Oh, Nick, mate, you're so choice, eh?
The fucking man.
A man.
Cool.
Sweet as. Sweet as, bro.
Nikki has gone offline.